Welcome back. We got some more great topics. We'll move on to the CFL. I know you got your Rider green on, so we'll start off with you. The Saskatchewan Roughriders. You could say a bit of a tough loss against Montreal there. Penalties, a couple missed field goals were pretty much what kind of were the Riders undoing. Your thoughts, Kurt? On
I think they gave too much respect to the Alouettes going in. I just don't think the Alouettes are that good a football team. I think they should have opened up the playbook a little bit more for Drew Willie and let him see what he can do. Also, the thing that always bothers me about that game in Montreal is it always starts at 11 o'clock. You know, we won that game last year. We won that game in Montreal. When was it? A Sunday night. Game started at 5 o'clock. When the Riders come out and Anthony Calvillo marched the ball downfield twice and scored right away, first thing I thought is, it's 11 o'clock at home. These guys aren't used to playing. They're not even in the game yet. The defense wasn't even in the game yet. But Montreal will always do that to you. And they're smart that way. But they also know when they go to BC that you know what, BC will do the same thing to Montreal and keep them up late out there.
Yeah, you know what, and I think more than anything, the Riders shot themselves in the foot a whole bunch of times. We were the least penalized team in the CFL going into that game, and we
still are.
We still
just
are.
That 180 penalty yards is not good.
And stupid penalties.
Yeah, stupid penalties. And
a lot of objectional conduct.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that. And I think, Montreal's getting a lot more respect than they really deserve right now. Their offense is aging. AC's getting old, and he is. And he doesn't roll out, doesn't run at all. Pressure him. That's what BC did. And really, it was no game against the Lions. And nice to see if the Riders can bounce back against the Stamps now.
Durant plays in that game, we win. Durant plays, the Riders win in that game. And also, Montreal's, they're losing to the teams they should lose to, and they're beating the teams that they should beat. And the East is weak. I mean, look, the East is weak again this year. And I don't know what's going on with Hamilton.
Excuse me, but I was going to say, Toronto's doing pretty well. They started slow, but they picked it up. They're at least one team that could contend with Montreal.
But Toronto's defense is good. Yeah, Toronto's defense is good. Their offense, even with Ricky Ray, it's still pretty suspect.
They're still ironing out the kinks.
With that roster, they should be better than they are.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see what happens at Kenyon Rambo, but let's kind of move on. You spoke of Darian Durant. If he started in Montreal, it would have possibly been a W for him. Now he's about 85% after that game in Montreal. Maybe minus a setback, he'll be at 100% against Calgary. Better chance of them winning with Durant in the lineup, and will he be in the lineup?
Oh, he'll be in the lineup. There is no question that Durant will be in the lineup. He said himself he could have played in Montreal. This game is way, way, way too important. You've lost in Montreal now. Now you have to win. You've got to show your fans and the league that you can't just beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You can beat anybody in the league. And the other thing is, you can't let Calgary get away from you.
Yeah, no, they're 2-6 in their last 8. There's 2 wins against the Bombers, unfortunately. And I'm thinking the Mustangs and the Chargers can beat the Bombers on a given day. They have to step up and they have to play better against the West opponents. Edmonton looks like they're pretty suspect right now. I thought they were right from the get-go. I thought they were doing it with smoke and mirrors, and I was probably right. So it's a big game this weekend, and if they want to turn the tide and move up in the West, they have to beat Calgary.
Yeah, the difference between Saskatchewan and Edmonton is quarterback position.
Yep.
I mean, Edmonton is going nowhere fast with the quarterbacks that they have.
You had Kerry Joseph, 39 years old. He lost his game a couple of years ago. Stephen Giles lost his game. Well, he never really did have his game.
Well, let's move on to the Edmonton Eskimos, and I'll get into that topic. Of course, you mentioned, Kerry Joseph didn't look too bad. Talking to Eskimo fans, too, they say, you know what? We had more trust in him than we did Stephen Giles. He did put up pretty decent yardage, even though Joseph was also banged up, and their third stringer got pretty rocked in that game against Hamilton as well over the weekend, where they got rocked as a team altogether, 51-8. But let's just talk about the Green and Gold themselves. Where do they go from here? Stephen Giles will start against BC this weekend. Are they the team that's going to do well in this foreseeable future? They've lost 4 out of 5. Can they weather the storm?
Well, you looked at the Eskimos, and the early part when they were having success, it was through their defense. Their defense kind of disappeared in Hamilton. Their offense was non-existent. Stephen Giles is a journeyman quarterback. How many teams has he played for? And he's never really done well with any of them. I don't like where the Eskimos are going right now, and they have that 3-headed monster in the running back.
Yeah, that's a mess.
Yeah, that's a mess right now. So
it's actually a 5-headed monster now.
They have to do something, and their defense can only win so many games for them. Their offense is a step up, and if it doesn't, then they're not going to look as bad as the Bombers, but they almost did this past weekend.
Is it the players or is it the personnel? Kavis Reed said he's not going to fire anybody or let anybody go in terms of the coaching staff. Where does the blame lie? Is it the players?
Well, there's a lot of new guys that are in that lineup now, right? And so there's a little bit of confusion on the sidelines. I think you keep Kavis Reed. I don't think you let Marcus Granville go. You thought he was great last year, right? Everybody's singing his praises last year. Nothing changes in a year. The only position that the Edmonton Eskimos are weak in is the most important position in the CFL, and that's the quarterback position. And the other thing is, when Darius Bowman got hurt, that really took something out of their lineup. It took their best receiver, and I know a lot of people think Fred Stamps, but he hasn't found that connection yet with the quarterback that Bowman had. So I would say that they stay the course. Tillman's put together a great football team at Edmonton. They really are a good football team, but he has messed up when he traded Ricky Ray. And I keep coming, people keep complaining about it in Edmonton, but where would the Edmonton Eskimos be if they had Ricky Ray in that lineup? Well, they wouldn't have Grant Shaw. Well, Grant Shaw has messed up for them 3 times now. In 3 games, he has messed up 3 times. So you can't tell me without Ricky Ray, there's not at least 3 more wins on the board for the Eskimos. So the most important position, find somebody for that position, and that'll be a good football team.
Another
that can
one
compete
was
with BC.
another one was McKnight. Picking him up.
Brand
never
new
mind
player
that,
in the lineup.
And there's nothing wrong with picking up a kicker. They swap kickers. But yes, the issue is he also gave up a first-round pick next year.
Right now, it's looking like Ricky Ray for what? Because you're not going to use Shaw.
No.
And their quarterback's sitting on the bench, and they're going to throw a Hail Mary in there and put him in there just because they have to. Right now, it looks like they gave Ricky Ray to the Toronto Argonauts.
And look at that confusion just before halftime in that game where Shaw came out in the field, thought he was kicking, then Knight comes out in the field, then he kicks it, and you can see Shaw's reaction. He was told to go out and kick, and then all of a sudden the other kicker they brought in ends up kicking the field goal. So
Kavis Reed said he onuses up to that mistake. He shouldn't have brought him in.
and what happened? They blocked it and returned it for a touchdown.
And that pretty much kind of turned the game over.
There has been some, like even the guy running the football out of the end zone twice, right?
Yep.
He reams him out once, and then he goes and does it next week.
Yeah.
So there has been some coaching issues, but last year everybody's singing the praises of Kavis Reed. What's changed? The only thing that's changed is the quarterback.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Hopefully you guys don't change. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to have more Gloves Are Off coming up.